Yeah, so we got 971 subscribers. We got a whole bunch of crows in the backyard. And I think that deer is going to go down and harass them now. Let's see. Yep. Leave the crows alone, deer. Leave the crows alone. We also got indoor growing updates. Got lots of aloes growing. These things just gain mass. Here's a very spindly tomato plant which almost died, and we were able to pull through. Here's an orphan poinsettia from Christmas that we're going to learn how to grow. There's some garlic. And there's a single blade of grass. For real. Here's a random honeysuckle vine and some dandelion that just grew in a pot, so we just decided to grow an indoor vine. Some more gigantic aloes. And these things are monstrous. And then finally, the more active tomato project. There's the smallest tomato. There's the middle-sized tomato. You see that? I don't know what the hell's going on. It's somewhere in there. And here's the one that's ripening. It's pretty small, but we're mainly doing this for seeds. And also, due to mold resistance. We don't want to say too much about that because it's a little controversial, but plants, yeah, indoors. Also, we got some solar wind stuff going on. Check it out. There's some X-ray flares. Oh, it looks like the crows have won now. They've chased off the yearling deer. It's trying to figure out a way to get a better angle on them here. I don't think it's going to work. These deer are confounded by the crows. By the way, we throw seed down there on purpose. Check out the GOES X-ray imager here. We'll see if the most recent flares came from the sunspot or from the active region on the eastern portion. Not so sure. Let's let it play through again. I think they came out of the sunspot. If anybody knows, leave it in the comments. So here's what's going on as far as the X-ray flux. There was another B-class flare, I don't know, an hour and a half after we put our video up this morning. No real change in the phi angle or the BTBZ. Had some drop-offs in the solar wind density and a ramp up in the solar wind speed. It looks like we're going back up to about 600 kilometers per second. Here's the magnetometer spikes we talked about. I'll show you the gong too in a second. KP is at 3. Electron flux is soaring after the standard coronal hole dip, so that should be interesting. Be keeping an eye on that to see what that does next. Some charging hazards. Looks like over by the Philippines. If you got satellites over the Philippines, watch out. And the F2 layer is surprisingly discharged. Very discharged in here. And even the spots where the sun is, still kind of discharged. There's your auroral forecasts. Check out the ground magnetic perturbations at the poles here. Things have calmed down a little bit since this morning. Let that play through. Still some instability there, but the fields are not as strong as they were at about 4 a.m. today. That's about 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Jeez. It looks like there's a third equatorial pole forming here. It's pretty sketchy looking. I mean, look at... super anomalous. That's the first time I've seen those anomalies coming straight out of Africa like that. I mean, right out of the rift zone area. Super anomalous, but not as strong in terms of nanotesla as they were this morning. Still reflecting 2 north poles and 1 highly migrated south pole. Had some major earthquakes here. Not quite to a range of a 7. But let's see. A 4.9 in Greece. 5.0 in the Northern Mariana Islands. 4.2 in Alaska. Another rare mid-Atlantic ridge quake. Zoom out so you can see where that's located. In the North Atlantic Ocean there. North of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge by the Azores. And 2 6.5s in Mexico. Whoops. I apologize. I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. They are 87 and 68 kilometers depth near Puerto Madero. Probably some damage there. Hopefully not too bad. Now let's look at the Gong 2 here to show you what's going on with those magnetometer spikes. Last couple days we've been showing you this view here, which is a little bit harder to comprehend. The synoptic ecliptic plane field plot. Here's what's going on with the magnetometer spikes. Let that play through twice. The orange line represents the Earth's magnetic field connection to the sun. Let it play a third time too. Now, if you look at the last frame, we're about to get another spike here because the Earth's magnetic field is going to move into the strongest portion of the IMF here. So you can see weak field, strong field, weak field, strong field, weak field, strong field. Hope that helps you comprehend it, although it may take a while because frankly it's freaky. Here's the top view ecliptic plane field plot, the one we normally look at. Keep in mind this is over 2 hours old. And so as soon as this bunched up region is passed, which is about to happen, if not already happening, there will be a spike and then another reduction in the magnetic field, in the GOES magnetometer reading, that is, which is, by the way, measured at the F2 ionosphere layer. Moving on. And going back to the sun, thanks for tuning in. It's a YouTube exclusive. We're not putting this anyplace on social media except on YouTube. So here's a 304 angstroms view, complete with a plasma filament down here. If you watch the beginning of the video, you'll see a plasma filament coming up this way. Also some interesting crackling of that setting sunspot 2733, some interesting filamentary activity associated with that, which is here, as well as the active region, which is rising here. Filaments associated with that also. Exciting stuff. We're not posting this anyplace. We're doing it just as a thank you to YouTube subscribers. Consider it a value-added service. Remember, when you're staring at plasma filaments, don't drink. And if you drink, know where those plasma filaments are anyway. And then do yourself a favor and don't drive.